You turn 50, and something shifts. You log into your 401k for the first time in months, maybe years, and you see that number. Maybe it's 287,000. Maybe it's 340,000. Maybe it's less. Instead of feeling proud, you feel exposed. Because suddenly it's not theoretical anymore. This isn't future you money. This is the money. The money that's supposed to carry you through 30 years of not working. And the thought that goes through your head, the one that feels responsible, mature, protective, is this. I can't afford to lose this. So you do what feels safe. You click around, you move things. And stocks feel dangerous now. Growth funds feel reckless. You shift everything into bonds, into stable value funds. And you sleep better that night. But here's the thing, nobody tells you at 50. That decision could quietly cost you 6 figures over the next 15 years. And here's what I eventually figured out. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm someone who has spent an embarrassing amount of time thinking about this exact moment. At 47, after a brutal market correction, I caught myself hovering over the reallocate button. With the financial industry, your anxiety and every market dip will try to convince you to act like you are. Let me introduce you to 2 people, Maria and David. Both 50 years old. Maria works in healthcare administration. David works in supply chain management. They each earn around $85,000 a year, and they've each managed to save roughly $300,000 in their 401k accounts. Then 2022 happens. The market drops. Both of their accounts fall to around $255,000. Maria makes a decision. She shifts her allocation from 80% stocks to 30% stocks, 70% bonds. It feels responsible, and David wants to do the same thing. But he talks to a friend who says, "You're not retiring tomorrow." He stays at 80-20. It feels uncomfortable. 15 years pass. At age 65, Maria's account is worth about $578,000. David's account is worth about $712,000. Same contributions, same starting point, different outcome, $34,000. That's the cost of going safe too early. Here's the metaphor I think about constantly. Imagine you're driving cross-country. Going conservative in your 50s is like pulling over and removing the engine because you're worried it might overheat. You're not protecting the car. You're stranding it. Your investment timeline isn't 15 years, it's 35. Your investment timeline isn't 15 years. Your investment timeline, everything to cash. You're retiring and then living for 20-25, maybe 30 more years. If you're 50 right now, some of the money in your 401k won't get touched until you're 78. That's 28 years away. But the emotional brain doesn't think like that. The emotional brain sees age 50 and hears retirement is close. Let me show you what actually happens inside these 2 accounts. Let's use $300,000 as the starting point at age 50. Maria's journey, conservative, 30% stocks, 70% bonds. Age 50 starts with $300,000. Age 55, contributed $75,000 total, account worth $408,000. Average annual return about 4.8%. Age 60, contributed $150,000 total, account worth $498,000. Growth feels slow. Age 65, contributed $25,000 total. Account worth $578,000. Total market growth added $53,000. David's journey, growth-oriented, 80% stocks, 20% bonds. Age 50,000 total. Average annual return, about 2%. Some bumpy years. Age 60, contributed $150,000 total. Account worth $610,000. The gap is widening. Age 65, contributed $225,000 total. Account worth $712,000. Total market growth added, $107,000. Let that land for a second. Maria's market growth, $53,000. David's market growth, $107,000. Same contributions, same discipline. $134,000 difference. Maria didn't lose money. Her account went up. But she left life-changing money on the table. That's what nobody talks about. The financial advice you'll hear at 50 is, get more conservative as you age. And that's true. Eventually. But the problem is when people do it and how dramatically they do it. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Your 50s aren't the end of your investment timeline. They're barely past the middle. If you retire at 65 and live until 85, your money needs to survive for 45 years from age 50. Going to 70% bonds at age 50 is like a marathon runner slowing to a walk at mile 14 because they're worried about mile 26. The biggest risk at 50 isn't market volatility. It's inflation eating your spending power for 30 years. A Vanguard study found that retirees who maintained a 60-40 stock bond allocation throughout retirement had significantly lower failure rates. Read that again. Staying invested didn't just help growth, it prevented failure. Okay, but let's be honest. If you're 55 and the market drops 18% in a year, how do you not panic? The honest answer is, you probably will feel panic. But here's how you survive it without torching your future. Strategy 1. Bucket your money mentally. Bucket 1. Money you'll need in the next 5 years. Keep this conservative. Bonds, stable funds. Bucket 2. Money you'll need in 5-15 years. Balanced. 50-50 or 60-40. Bucket 3. Money you won't touch for 15 plus years. Keep this aggressive. 80% stocks. This lets you seize safety for the near term while keeping long-term growth alive. Strategy 2. Automate your glide path. Most 401k plans offer target date funds. These automatically get more conservative as you age, but they do it gradually, not all at once. Strategy 3. Don't look at your balance during crashes. I'm serious. If the market drops and you're still 10 years from retirement, do not log in. You're not selling. The number is irrelevant. Let me talk to 3 different groups watching this. If you're 50 to 55 right now, you have time. Massive time. If your 401k is still at 80% stocks, don't flinch. You're not being reckless. You're being mathematically correct. The next 10 years are where compound growth does its heaviest lifting. Let it work. If you're 55 to 60 and you already went conservative, it's not too late to correct this. You don't have to go back to 80% stocks overnight, but consider shifting back to 60-40 or even 70-30. You still got 25 to 30 years for that money to compound. A 2% higher return over 20 years is a 6-figure difference. If you're over 60 or already retired, this advice still applies. Just because you're retired doesn't mean your investment timeline is over. If you're 65 and healthy, you might live to 90. A common recommendation is your age in bonds, so 65, maybe 65% stocks, 35% bonds, not 20-80. You still need that engine running. Here's what I keep coming back to. At 50, you're not at the finish line. You're not even in the final stretch. You're at the part of the race where every instinct tells you to slow down, protect what you have, play it safe. But the math doesn't care about your instincts. The math says you've got 30 years ahead of you, maybe more. And the money you saved isn't meant to be buried in a bunker. It's meant to keep working, keep growing, keep carrying you forward. Going conservative too early doesn't protect you. It just makes the finish line harder to reach. If this clicked for you, I'd love it if you subscribed. I make videos about the retirement mistakes nobody talks about until it's too late, and how to fix them even if you're starting mid-game. And if you've got a friend in their 50s who just moved everything to bonds, maybe send this to them. Not as a lecture. Just as a, hey, I saw this and thought of you thing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.